The sport of golf has become a very important sport because it is not only used for competition and recreation, but plays a key role in business corporations. For example, if a business is trying to make a deal with another corporation, then they can easily go out to the golf course and discuss it, but at the same time be in a relaxed, comfortable situation. The word golf originated from the word kulf, a pre-1400 sport. Many question whether the origins of golf are directly related to it. However, the origin of golf has been credited to Scotland at a course called St. Andrews. The aim was to strike a ball into a hole into the ground. The earliest written reference dates to 1457, when King James II of Scotland banned golf and football on the grounds because they were interrupting archery practice. And at this time, archery was very important because it was used in war and conflicts. Again, in 1471, James III, and in 1491, James IV, repeated this action due to the continued interruption. Because it was banned in 1457, it has led many to think it may have been played many years before. However, in the period of 1750 to 1850 was when golf came to be as we know it today. It was in this time that many of today's great golf clubs were founded, and the leading players of the area started to gain renown. Top players began to regularly gather for meetings when medal and match play rounds were organized and distinctions were made between amateur and professional players. For example, Allen Robertson, who has a long line of golfers in the family, perhaps one of the best golfers of the time, was the first to break 80 in 1853 at St. Andrews at the Old Golf Course, which demonstrates the fact that big players were coming out at this time period. In the period of 1850 to 1890, golf was in its adolescence, especially in the years of 1848 to 1852. Three highly significant events occurred in St. Andrews that were to turn the game from the parochial into the global. First, there was a ball known as the Gutty in 1848, which encouraged iron-faced clubs because of its durability. Today, iron-faced clubs are still used, when before this type of ball was found, it was all wood. Then, in 1852, the railway came, which brought many to know the links of St. Andrews. Before then, it was mostly just the players in the area and that could come, that were close because no one else knew about it. Lastly, Tom Morris created the first purpose-built golf course on the links of Montcalm Paris in 1857. This allowed there to be the Open Championship that began to be held there after it was created. There of 1890 to 1914 will always be remembered for the mark it left on the game of golf by John Henry Taylor, Harry Vardon, and James Braid. Known as the Great Three, they collected 16 Open Championships between them and left an indelible impression on the game of golf. Then, what started as a trickle of Scots golfers to the U.S., it became the commonplace by the turn of the century when anyone that could swing a club on the links of Scotland can make it as a professional in the United States. Because golf was just being created in the United States, it was very welcoming to Scottish players to help it build. Between the years of 1920 to 1939, war took over Scottish golf. Some great golfers survived, but the consequence of terror gutted their game. Those that came through were few in number, but determined, often took the decision to play in America, golf's promised land. Players known in this era are those such as Hagen, Jones, and Serzer. Although the First World War beat down golf, the second almost completely ruined it. The first took down the players and their dignity. The second, the golf course. It ruined them because of the destruction. Few courses remained unharmed. Golf was not only suspended for the duration of the war, it was nearly extinguished. Whatever the reason, however, American golfers certainly came to came to the front following the war years. This was a growing and rebuilding period for the game, and to make sure it did its best to stay strong instead diminish. From 1961 to present day, golf has transformed in many ways and has seen some of the best golf ever. Jack Nicklaus and Arnold Palmer took over the game and transformed it to make it one of the best watched sports. Then, in 1996, when Tiger Woods emerged as a professional, he completely transformed it from what they had already done. Of course, all eyes had been on him since he had won the U.S. Amateur Championship 2 years running. Tiger had been watched all throughout his amateur career. He had won all the tournaments when he was growing up, and then he went and played collegiate golf at Stanford. Woods became the youngest ever champion at the Masters and climaxed as he stormed to 6 wins out of 6 starts in the 1999 to 2000 season. Now, many would place him in the same league as Palmer and Nicklaus, as he comes up to beat or tie their records. Golf has transformed in many ways, from the way the club and the balls were made to where the sport flourished the most and the players that have all dominated the great game. Some interesting facts about golf is that when it first started, it was known as a rich man's game because it was so formal and had specific etiquette you had to follow. Although now it's still very expensive, there are a lot of ways to get around the fact that it was known as a rich man's game. Additionally, for a long time, golf was only for men. Women were not allowed. In fact, many would say that the word golf came from the saying, gentlemen only, ladies forbidden. It's ironic because it's become quite a popular sport for men and women alike. It's become very widely known for women because it's a very good way to get scholarships in college. From its origins in Scotland, from the great players like Robertson, Jones, Palmer, Nicklaus, and Woods, golf has made a huge impact on sports. It is uniquely different from any other, and it is used in many corporate businesses. It has evolved from being a gentleman's only game to one enjoyed by both men and women, young and old.